video, we're gonna talk about Legion work via my guy King Paimon. So, as you can tell, um, my guy Paimon put me on, or Payman, however you want to pronounce it. But King Paimon, I started working with this deity. He's the ninth deity in the Goetia, if you know about the Ars Goetia. But I started working with King Paimon because of my natural musical gifts that I have. But when I started working with King Paimon, what he showed me how to do is build this certain level of aesthetic, confidence in my aesthetic, and you know how us artists call like the flow that you go on a song, we call that a cadence. Not just the cadence, but literally the cadence of how I move as an artist, that that as well. But also, when you recording music, if you want to get a little bit more physical, the cadence, yeah, you're gonna be cooking up with crazy cadences fucking with Paimon. And Paimon does have a lot of industry influence, but I'll save that for another video. But so I was working with King Paimon with some of my musical abilities, and I've been working with Paimon for a while. He's actually my base deity that I work with because, you know, I feel like me and Paimon have had, well, I don't feel like it. Well, of course I feel like it, but I know me and Paimon have had a past relationship in other lifetimes from channel. But he was letting me know how you're moving with your music because you got all this great music, but you're not putting it out. And I was telling him, like, shit, how should I go about putting it out? Like, the result I want, the energetic feel I want when I put this music out in return. Just like when I made it, I need this energy back. What he said is, yeah, you're going to get that back, but it's going to take time and effort. So this time and effort, everybody knows about this time and effort, the process that it takes. You don't just, you can go overnight, but there's this little working process. It may look like overnight, but there's always this little working process. So what he was saying was, during this little working process, what your main job is finding how your music, the main way your music can conjure up certain energies in others. So I'm asking myself, I make all this different music for my, I got music for my niggery people. I got music for my psychonauts. I make all this different, diverse sounding type of music. I got love music. Like with music, it's to the point of how do I want my reality to be. But how Paimon had me thinking is, nigga, your reality is going to be determined overall by the overall world. So what you put in your music is going to control the reality of the overall world and the people's mind, the collective consciousness. So I'm like, I know this, but most of my music is for like inner transformation of my shadow. But I'm past that point. He let me know, nigga, once you get to a certain point and mastering a certain part of yourself, like, nigga, how much more music are you gonna make talking about old shit that you no longer dealing with? So when he said that, I'm like, okay, nigga, you cooking. Keep going. Here's where things took a little bit deeper dive, I would say. I've been working with Paimon for about, two and a half years now, working with King Paimon. Just recently, I took a trip to Atlanta. The magic has gotten me to Atlanta, people. Yes, it did. I was in Atlanta with a lovely friend of mine. Shout out to her, you know. But I was in Atlanta, and me and her, we were experimenting, cause she's into the knowledge as well, and the gnosis. But we were experimenting with some mind-altering drugs, mind-expanding drugs, I shall say. And these mind-expanding drugs, it wasn't mushrooms, people. It was straight marijuana, LSD. Now, people, I smoke weed. LSD, I took an LSD before. I never ever taken LSD and done a ritual, people. I'm pretty sure I've done baby rituals, but not intentional rituals. So when I was up here, a thought came through my mind, and I wonder who it came from, what deity it came from. Call up my guy, King Paimon. You know, she wants to take some LSD. Let's take some LSD, because I know how it is already, and it's a great experience. It's just, LSD is like, it activates you. I'm gonna say that. It activates everything about your pineal, all your chakras, your other chakras. Really, it's really the only chakras that really matter, for real, if you really want me to be honest, niggas. It's the heart and your pineal, the upper chakras. But of course, you gotta, before you get to this, you gotta master them. That's what those the base ones. But anyway, so I get this thought. Call up my guy Paimon during this trip, and I said, you know, that'll be actually something great and interesting, an interesting experience. I want to see how instantaneous I get into this state. And it's not even a question of instantaneous, nigga. You instant, nigga. You're a channel. When you off this LSD, they created this that basically turn on your energetic body to turn you into a fucking television so they can study you. Sit there and watch and study you. So, nigga, damn near everything I was looking at, I was tapping into the wall. Picture, it can be a picture of any person, their spirit coming straight through, we conversating. So it's like I was a channel. I was just switching channels. That's what it was. I was in channel mode. So I asked her, I'm like, you know, because she does a little bit of deity work herself. I don't know with what deities. I can't remember off the top of my head. I know maybe, yeah, some Ganesha for sure. Some of the Hindu deities. But I asked her, I said, you know, I'm thinking about, you know, calling up this spirit and doing this certain, you know, work during this trip and having this certain conversation. Because, you know, when you take these LSD trips, it's external and it's internal. Mushrooms, they're more internal. You're going straight internal. LSD is more so, it's both. It's internal, but this internal is instantly relayed and becoming external. I don't know how to explain it really. But, you know, she was cool with it. I told her, basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull out his portal or his phone number, which is his sigil. I'm gonna light a candle, and I'm gonna sit in this room, and I'm gonna just, you know, I'm gonna go into this state and let my thoughts take me. Oh boy. She agreed, and I'll save that story for another day, people. I can't tell you this story, but anyway, I'm gonna give it about, man, we about 4 or 5 hours into the work. Well, I'm about 4 or 5 hours into the work. That's why I said I gotta tell this story. But I'm about 4 or 5 hours into the path working of, man, I ain't no telling how long I was talking to this nigga Paimon. Like, I was talking throughout the whole trip to this nigga Paimon. But it got to a point to where I had just relaxed in my mind. And I became like this fucking, like, I remember seeing his sigil. And I went through his sigil. But as I went through his sigil, it's like listen, people, bird's eye view. The sigil is a piece of paper, a symbol on a piece of paper. I went through the symbol. As I went through the symbol, it's like I was coming through a portal out the sky. And like a bird, like a black bird, I'm flying over these armies of legions of other demons, other spirits, worker spirits, you can call them. But as I'm flying over all these, I'm like, holy shit, like, I'm flying over these spirits, like all these demons. Like, I'm in the inferno, you know, it's foggy, fiery, the sky. You know, I'm just taking in everything. I fly directly into this one spirit's chest. When I flew directly into this nigga chest, all I seen was his sigil pop up. His sigil popped straight up into my mind's eye, like, in the environment. Like, it covered his body. This nigga's sigil, it looked like a shield with two swords on it, and it had his name going in it. Now, I won't disclose this deity's name. I have disclosed this deity's name with some of the great teachers because I had further questions. Like, I think Trav know. Who else? My guy Ace, he know. And my other guy, Vinci, he know, I think. But basically, what this particular spirit did in this legion. Now, like, keep in mind, I'm working with King Paimon for my musical ability. Main intent, musical ability. Paimon basically gave me a spirit that, what's the word? Drive, passion, musical drive and passion. Remember how I was saying which direction to take in dropping the music? He gave me a spirit that gives me this drive and this knowing of this direction. And this spirit, hey, listen, I was in Atlanta. I'm gonna tell you how this spirit started to manifest. So, at first I had to do my research. I'm doing all this research to try to find this spirit. Like, you know, make sure I'm not tripping. Make sure I'm just not tripping. And of course, you know, if you do Legion research, you're gonna have to, I mean, I really didn't find much information about this spirit at all, people, besides of what I'm picking up intuitively from the spirit and what he's telling me. But as I'm doing this research, I'm like, you know, is this spirit really real, or is it impossible? Like, you know, these are the battles you do gotta, when you, in doing this work, you do gotta, you know, have that proper discernment. Am I, you know, it really come down to a point too, to where I will say it will come down to a point to where that really don't matter, but that's for another video. But right now, I'm still being extra cautious in terms of my thought forms and making sure they are what I'm setting out for them to be when I do this work. But I'm in Atlanta. I go to Atlanta because honestly, the magic in my circumstances, the magic outdid my circumstances, and I was literally no longer fit to be where I was at in North Carolina anymore. So I get to Atlanta. I literally, how this happened, I met the girl. All this happened in damn near the same week. Same week I met this girl in Atlanta, I went out there, damn near. So I told my family I knew this girl for months. But I literally just met her that week, went out there. So this is how it was working. I get out there, I stay out there for about 3-4 months. But during the time that I'm out there, I'm saying, you know, I'm gonna take this time. I'm gonna see how the music industry really works in Atlanta, because you got to think about it. Atlanta is the Black Hollywood. Like, that is the capital of music. If you're a black artist, anybody in the music game who's a black artist for real, it's either Atlanta or Cali, and Atlanta is the headquarters. So I'm seeing what it takes to be this artist, the level of drive, that the level of drive you must have if you want to be at the top. Now, you got niggas that was placed at the top. You got niggas that was placed at the top, and you got niggas that climbed to the top and made their way, and goddamn, they fought for their spot at the top. I do not want to be one of those niggas that was placed at the top. But before this trip to Atlanta, my mindset was, I'm going to be one of those niggas that was placed at the top. And my brother Face, he used to always tell me, because my brothers make music too, he used to always tell me, like, you know, you got the right mindset, but at the same time, you got to change up how you look at the work of it, because it take more work than that. I'm like, I never really understood that, because I looked at it as like the plant energy. All the industry plants, that's the energy I was coming from. Like, nigga, I can be an industry plant and take over the world. Well, nigga, working with these spirits and your energy body does take effect from this, and it will be seen in the astrals via remote viewing or other spirits. Niggas know what your main fucking intent is. So I would say, even myself, these videos right here, imagine a nigga like me. I'm teaching you about a spirit and how it works in your mind and all this shit, my experience from it. A nigga like me in the music industry, what would I be talking about? Or what would be the effect of the things that I'm talking about? Exactly. Chaotic. Not really on no mass awakening shit, but I really want to stir up the pot. I want to put some chaotic energy in there and cause people to fucking think. That's all I want to do. That intent right there is known throughout the whole musical industry astrals. Paimon, my guy Paimon, him and Amdusius, the head of the musical industry astrals. The astrals in the musical industry, Paimon, King Paimon, and the spirit Amdusius. He's a unicorn, the 67th Goetia. They are the head fucking deities of the musical industry. Now, I say this to say, I had to realize the work. This trip in Atlanta made me realize the work that I had to put in. So, from working with this Legionic spirit, what it taught me was, nigga, you gotta go from wanting to be placed there to wanting to put in the work to place yourself there. There's a difference. Being placed there, somebody else putting you there. But when you work and put yourself there, there's a difference. You set a foundation. Nobody can take this shit from you because I put in all the work. If somebody placed you there, that same person who placed you there can unplace your ass. So it was more on a longevity type of thing. So I'm riding around in Atlanta. I'm like, damn, okay, I'm starting to understand it. Like, damn, where's all this coming from? Like, I'm really starting to see the business side of this shit easier and operate with the music industry. Like, I didn't have my my record label started up yet, but I do now. But this spirit was probably the main spirit that said, okay, nigga, it's time to start doing this. So, how to become my own entrepreneurial boss, that's just a side product of this spirit. But it really deals with your drive, dealing with the musical industry. Now, I was driving through Atlanta, like I was saying. I questioned myself. I said, what is this spirit really showing me? What's the spirit really showing me? Man, I'm driving this fucking Toyota 4Runner, speed past me and slam on brakes right beside me, but just a little bit in front of me, I can see his tag. The deity name is spelled out right on this nigga. And this deity name, listen, y'all, this is some complex. This is not some shit you gonna see every fucking day at all. You won't see this shit. This is a once in a life. Like, how this shit is even spelled, you would not see this shit. Man, this fucking tag had this deity's name on it. It was on a 4Runner. If you look at King Paimon's sigil, there's 4 deities' heads up there. I'm driving on the highway, like, and you know Atlanta traffic be backed up, shit. I'm just thinking, you know, you can look, it's big ass lanes, ain't no telling what type of cars you gonna see, so there's plenty of vamping motivation around if you're an artist. You might see a Lambo, give you more inspiration, a song idea, anything. I see this shit. That's when it clicked. I said, bro, this nigga is here to help me gain insight to what I truly want, and the power, not the power, but the initiatory drive, the passion, that flame to get to that. Now, when this flame is lit, it's not just, oh, you're gonna be on action, but your action is more strategic. Like I was asking Paimon, like, how should I move? So my action now, after working with this spirit from this legion, like I said, I started my business, my record label up. We inked in the government. I'm in the process right now of getting funding for this record label. Um, and the whole aesthetic that I'm gonna come with is gonna change. It's literally about to change. Like what y'all see here, this is shit. I'm just cooling right now. I decided to put my phone up and I said, hey, let me tell these niggas how to work with a legion if a nigga ever asked that question. But the whole aesthetic is about to change. So to summarize this whole video up, people, in order to work with a legion, this is what I did step by step. First, people, if you know about sigil work is very simple. Don't overthink it. Overthinking it is where shit get real. A sigil is a symbol that communicates with your subconscious mind. This symbol communicating with your subconscious mind can bring shit dealing with this symbol, I would say, out the subconscious and the collective unconscious. So, me sitting with this symbol, going into this state, what do I relate to this symbol? A certain deity's energy. Deities, if I shall say. Shout out to the gang of spirits. But what do I relate with this symbol? A specific deity's energy. Okay, I got this candle lit. Why do I have this candle lit? Got this this bowl of water right here. Why do I have this bowl of water? Got this frankincense going. Yeah, had the frankincense going. Why did I have this frankincense going? All these different sight, smell, they basically help me incorporate my fucking five senses into my imagination or into my intent. So after I incorporate my five senses, may not be fully, people. You're not always gonna get there fully in all five senses, but you gotta work on. That's why you work on your senses and your clairvoyancy and your astral senses. But once I got into this flow state and I was in there, like I said, I dove into Paimon sigil. Now, just like when you dive into a fucking wall, or you dive into a pool in a dream. Once you get under this water, the scenery will change. But once you come back out this water, the scenery will fucking change. I dove into Paimon sigil. As I dove into Paimon sigil astrally, y'all maybe not physically, nigga. I ain't dive head first into no fucking piece of paper, nigga. No, because I have a fucking concussion. I'll be bleeding. But I dove, like astral projected. I imagined as if I left out my body and jumped into this sigil. The smells in my room around me are keeping me present. At the same time, I'm leaving this part, or I'm shifting consciousness, I would say. Shifting awareness. I'm taking my awareness somewhere else, while my physical body remains intact here in this room with this candle, bowl of water, frankincense, and this sigil. Now, as I dive into Paimon sigil, I done did this before, but this is my first ever time actually going directly into the infernos via Paimon's sigil. Now, other times when I used Paimon's sigil, he just showed himself to me. It wasn't like it was always a face-to-face encounter. He just showed himself in a form. But this time I was in the infernals for sure. I knew where I was at because I've been to the infernals before, but just never via Paimon sigil. But I get to the infernals. Once I got to the infernals, I'm looking like a bird down at legions, thousands of spirits. It sounds like, however you would visualize an army of spirits to sound in hell, all roaring. That's how it sounded. They had shields. It was fire. Uh, Shirtless. Skin tones varied. None of them really were, they were all humanoid shaped. They were humanoid shaped, but different sizes and appearances and shit. The specific deity that I flew into, keep in mind, people, I flew into this sigil. I dove into this sigil astrally. Now, after I dove into this sigil astrally, I'm flying like a bird looking down at all these armies of spirits. I flew into one of these spirits' chests. As I flew into the spirit chest, a shield came up with his name on it. Well, it was his sigil. Well, his beginner sigil is what I would got. My first impression sigil, my first initiatory meeting him sigil is what I got. Something I can, a quick little, here's my number real quick, call me later type of sigil. But I got this sigil, and I was telling myself the whole time, remember this sigil. I remember how the deity looks. He just popped up on me the other night, actually. That's why I'm making this video. But I'm telling myself, remember this sigil, remember this sigil, remember this sigil. Deity basically said, oh, nigga, don't worry. You gonna remember this. So, I'm actually surprised. I pop out, like, I literally break out the state. I'm like, holy shit. Man, I gotta call this nigga Ace, bro. Like, god damn, I just went. I did call this nigga Ace. I'm gonna tell y'all that too. But I'm like, damn, I gotta call this nigga Ace, bro. So I text this nigga Ace, like, bro, this nigga Paimon just showed me a fucking legion, like, for the first fucking time. Like, he showed me the legion of them niggas, bro. The whole legion of spirits. Goddamn. I pop out this shit. Goddamn. He tell me to, I write down this nigga sigil. I wrote down the deity sigil. Now, I'm trying to figure out all the other correspondences. You just gotta continuously work with the deity. You gotta sit with the deity's energy. Like, for example, I know the deity, this deity, his element is fire for sure. He's definitely a fire element. If I had to put a specific energy on him, planetary energy on him, oh man, I really can't even put a specific planetary energy on him right now. I could really, the only one I could say is Mars. You know, Mars, a little bit of Mars, and maybe some Cancer. A little bit of Mars and Cancer. That's definitely about summarize that nigga energy. But yeah, you just gotta continuously sit with the energy and you will be able to pick up on it. But you will not be able to pick up on it, people, if you don't have no basic innate study of, the planets, astrology, energy work, like just how to move energy or basic feel for energy, playing with your energy body. Now, I've been experiencing with my energy body for some time and working with it for some time. I can feel when somebody throws something at me or attempt to, or whatever you want to call it. I can feel when something's off within my energetic body. It's a flow, and when something disrupted, I knows. you got to get to the same state. And even this state that I'm at is not really, it's not the here all be all state. There's some teachers out here, nigga, that goddamn work my ass. But hey, defense is the best offense. But this state, it's not the here all be all. But I would say at least understand the basic planets, astrology, and meditation, people. Meditation. But I'm going kindergarten the word meditation. Being able to sit and listen to your fucking thoughts and realize that your thoughts is not your thoughts. Being able to sit and listen to your fucking thoughts and realize your thoughts are not your thoughts. That is the most beginner meditation I could tell you niggas. After a while, everything else will just come. The vivid seeing things through the pineal, the mind's eye, the visions, it will come. Just focus on quieting your mind. Not even quieting your mind, but just listening to all of the thoughts. Observing them. Don't put action into them. Thoughts come through. When you put action into them, it look like this. But if you just observe them, they come through and they go out. They come through and they go out. But when they come through and you actually say, oh, damn, she is cheating. What if she cheating on me? Let me call this bitch. You put an action to this thought that you could have just let go through. So you got to question, where are these thoughts coming from? And then, people, you get to that level, you ready to advance, people. But, peace, family. It's been your guy. I'm cool. I'm gonna start making more videos like this. I really be feeling like, it'd be pointless for real to make videos like this when all the knowledge is out there, but everybody dumbs things down differently. No one person can explain it for everybody to understand. So, yeah. Peace, family. It's your guy. I'm cool. I'm out.